In a significant ruling on 10 November 2023, Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud reinterpreted Article 200 of the Indian Constitution, addressing the confusion surrounding a governor's power to withhold assent to a bill. The judgment specifies that if the governor withholds assent, the bill must be sent back to the Assembly for immediate reconsideration, leaving no option but to ultimately give assent. The decision aims to prevent unelected governors from delaying legislative processes. However, concerns persist regarding the governor's authority to reserve bills for the president's consideration, prompting a need for clarity on which bills can be sent for presidential review.
The recent Chhattisgarh Assembly elections saw a significant impact of tribal votes, constituting 34% of the state's electorate. Maoist-affected regions, particularly Bastar, experienced low voter turnout, as low as 3 to 4%, due to violence and Maoist boycott calls. The article suggests that the Maoist parallel government, Jantana Sarkar, lacks long-term sustainability, and the implementation of the Panchayats, Extension to Scheduled Areas, Act, PESA, could empower tribal communities and marginalize Maoist influence. The piece emphasizes nurturing tribal leadership, acknowledging aspirations, and strengthening democracy at the grassroots level to address the Maoist challenge effectively.
The recent security breach in the Indian Parliament, where protesters highlighted unemployment and the government's response, have raised concerns about democratic norms. The government's avoidance of debate, unprecedented suspension of 78 opposition MPs, and increased suspensions since 2014 undermine deliberative democracy. Global reports now characterize India's democracy as an electoral autocracy, citing attempts to stifle opposition and the misuse of the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act against dissenters. Such actions contribute to the backsliding of democracy, as noted by research institutions, raising serious concerns about the state of democratic principles in India.
Tensions between the governor and the Left Democratic Front government in Kerala have escalated due to ideological differences. The governor, Arif Mohammed Khan, is accused of appointing right-wing sympathizers to university positions, leading to protests. Recent court judgments emphasize that unelected governors should not undermine elected regimes. The Supreme Court set aside a vice-chancellor's reappointment in Kannur University, citing unwarranted government interference. Suggestions for a long-term solution include legislative changes to remove governors as university chancellors or transferring chancellor powers to another authority, addressing concerns about arbitrary use of such powers. The Panchi Commission had recommended ending the practice of burdening governors with this role.
The anti-defection law in India, found in the 10th schedule of the Constitution, aimed at curbing floor crossing by legislators, has shown weaknesses and misuse. Exemptions, like the merger provision, have been exploited, causing group defections and leading to the downfall of democratically elected state governments. The Shiv Sena and Nationalist Congress party factions in Maharashtra used the two-thirds majority to split and then claimed to be the original party, forming alliances with the BJP. A survey revealed instances of splits followed by mergers, mocking the anti-defection law. The article calls for deleting the merger exception to strengthen the law.
The Congress's recent victories in Karnataka and Telangana have boosted its hopes in Andhra Pradesh. Despite the party's past poor performance and lack of representation in Andhra Pradesh, the Congress aims to make a comeback in the 2024 general and assembly elections. The party plans to host meetings with senior leaders, including Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Vadra, D.K. Shivkumar, Revant Reddy, and Y.S. Sharmila, hoping to capitalize on the anti-incumbency factor against Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSRCP. The TDP-JSP alliance may benefit from any chinks in the YSRCP's armor, but Jagan Reddy remains popular.
In 2023, only 18 audit reports on the Union government's accounts, prepared by the Controller and Auditor General, CAG, were tabled in Parliament, marking a decline in recent years. The average number of reports tabled annually decreased to 22 between 2019 and 2023, compared to 40 between 2014 and 2018. The figures, based on scraping over 400 audit reports from the CAG website, indicate a downward trend in the tabling of audit reports, raising concerns about transparency and accountability. Departments like Railways and Civil also witnessed a decline in the number of audit reports tabled.
The 28th Conference of Parties, COP28, in Dubai, marked by some as a mixed bag, focused on the global stock-taking, GST, over the Paris climate deals and the Loss and Damage Fund. The role of urban cities in climate action was highlighted, with a special day dedicated to a ministerial meeting on urbanization and climate change. The urban world currently consumes 75% of primary energy and is responsible for around 70% of CO2 emissions. Cities in the global south, facing vulnerabilities and a lack of empowerment, require more support, and there's a need for a radical shift in urban governance processes.
The Allahabad High Court has approved the survey of the Shahi Idgah, a three-domed mosque in Mathura adjacent to the Krishna Janmabhoomi temple. The decision follows a plea by Hindu representatives claiming that the mosque was built over the birthplace of Lord Krishna on the orders of Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb in 1670. Despite objections from the mosque committee citing the Places of Worship, Special Provisions, Act, 1991, the court upheld the survey order. The act prohibits changing the character of any place of worship as it existed on 15 August 1947. The survey will explore the ownership dispute over the land.
Value investing involves buying assets below their intrinsic value, anticipating selling them at a higher price later. It's rooted in the belief that an asset's price, though volatile in the short term, will move toward its intrinsic value in the long run. Pioneered by Benjamin Graham and endorsed by Warren Buffett, value investing relies on the disparity between an asset's market price and intrinsic value. Value investors seek opportunities when the market undervalues assets, often exploiting discrepancies during crises. It contrasts with efficient market theory, asserting that prices accurately reflect intrinsic value, a viewpoint challenged by value investors.
Customized mRNA holds promise in personalized medicine, leveraging the body's intrinsic mRNA processes. mRNA, a messenger molecule, conveys genetic instructions for protein synthesis. By altering these instructions, scientists can create medicines to address various cellular issues. mRNA's scalability and the body's ability to naturally eliminate it offer advantages. Approved mRNA-based COVID-19 vaccines demonstrate flexibility, with ongoing trials for flu, herpes, and other vaccines. In cancer treatment, personalized mRNA vaccines, tailored to a patient's tumor, are in clinical trials. mRNA's potential extends to diverse diseases, signaling a future of effective, personalized therapies with fewer side effects.
Afghanistan's exclusion from COP28 for the third consecutive year raises humanitarian concerns amid worsening droughts and floods. Despite being highly vulnerable to climate change, the country hasn't participated in UN climate talks since the Taliban takeover in 2021. The Taliban's restrictions on women, particularly barring girls and women from schools, contribute to international isolation. Efforts to allow Afghan representation at COP28 were unsuccessful, but there's hope for engagement in future talks. The Taliban's control prevents Afghanistan from accessing vital UN climate funds, aggravating food insecurity for millions and hindering projects like the $18 million Sustainable Energy Initiative.